Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. If you're new here, please like and subscribe. Today I'm gonna check out this. It says tariff war leads China and U.S. decoupling, and China faces 8 major crises. But anyhow, this ain't necessarily going to be a political channel. I will say that when Donald Trump was very first in 2016 talking about running for presidency, I really did in my head, I said, man, he's going to turn this into a reality show. Not knowing at that time how many lies and deceit were going on. Just like U.S. aid isn't aid for anything. Each letter stands for something completely different other than foreign aid. Anyhow, so I'm so glad, one, that he became president. Two, I'm glad that he lost, because if he didn't lose, think about it. There would be no Doge. There's a whole lot of things that would have never happened. If he would have won his second term, he'd be out and out, and then it would be hitting the shit right now. Anyhow, that's beside the point. We're going to check this out, see what's up with it, and I'll let you know my points as we go.
I finished cleaning. My shift is over, and now I'm unemployed. Where can I find a job? There are no orders, and I don't even have money to live on. Right now, with the tariff war going on, many people in China are losing.
See, this is the thing that I haven't heard anyone really say. Now, I've heard we've lost 200,000 factories here in America over time, year over year. But you got to think, if China never put tariffs on us and all these other countries never put tariffs on us, the factories we had would have never left. And then China has a real bad thing about stealing IPs and then remanufacturing something after they reverse engineer it and then sell it back to us, which is always junk. It's never as good as the original. It's usually an American idea, American company. They steal it, re-engineer it, then sell it back to us as a piece of shit. But had none of them tariffs ever been in place, our companies would have never left. A lot of the damn tariffs were started to rebuild the countries that were torn up during World War II. But anyhow, so people saying like we're stealing jobs from Canadians, the job would have never been there had y'all not had tariffs on us. I mean, that's just a fact of the matter. We're just taking our jobs back. It's going to take a minute. There will be some pain in it, but I'm fine paying an extra 5, 10, 15 bucks on something. Not saying I got money, by no means, but if it makes the future of my grandkids brighter by paying extra money now, I'll do that any day.
Their jobs. Even business owners aren't spared.
最近大家关注的问题就是
Recently, everyone's talking about the increase in U.S. tariffs. For us in the textile industry, this is really a huge blow. A lot of our clients have either stopped placing.
Well, see, that's what kills me. China, they use slave labor, and the way they've got their economy structured, the money they have, a third of it is due to the U.S. So if we take our money back, they're going to go bankrupt. They're not going to have anywhere to sell the stuff to anyway. No one can pick up what the U.S. is dropping. So they're really kind of screwed, because it would be one thing if they bought American goods and it was an even thing, but they buy 1/5 of what America buys from them. So you putting tariffs on us is not going to hurt us very much, because you don't buy anything from us. You get what I'm saying?
Placing orders or canceled them altogether. Things were already bad before, and now it's even more uncertain. With the intense competition going on everywhere, where can small and medium-sized businesses like us go? We have so much production capacity, but we can't sell overseas. If we try to sell in the domestic market, we're crushed by competition. It's like having too many eggs. They go bad before anyone eats them. On April 10th, the U.S. raised tariffs on Chinese goods to 145%. The new rate took effect immediately. One day earlier, on April 9th, President Trump announced an addition.
What's his name? Kevin O'Leary or something. He's from Shark Tank. He said he wants it at 400%. And hey, I'm down with it. Crush them. All they do is steal stuff. They steal from the Russians, then they reverse engineer it, and then they make a crappier Su-27, Su-35, whatever. All their military stuff is just, if you look at the J-20, the Su-57, and the F-35, you stack them, They're almost identical, except for they got them stupid canards on the damn J20 that doesn't have an interior bay. But all they do is steal from us. I don't understand how they keep getting away. Me personally, like, I know he wrote a law or a mandate, whatever you call it, executive order, saying that you can't have an affair with Chinese. And I totally get it. I'd kick all the Chinese out of the country if you ask me. And it's not a racist thing. What it is the Chinese government, the CCP, they force their people to do things to send intel back to them. Otherwise, they get in trouble. And like even having Chinese police in our country. So there's certain cities that's got police stations that are Chinese. Why is this happening?
Additional 125% reciprocal tariff on Chinese imports. This came on top of the existing 20% tariffs, which were originally imposed because the Chinese government failed to stop illegal immigration and fentanyl from entering the United States. So, which industries in China are being affected? According to the Peterson Institute for International Economics, the biggest impact will be on China's major exports to the U.S. This includes electronics, machinery, textiles, and garments. An article by a top Wall Street analyst says that Chinese companies exporting medical supplies are also taking a hit. One syringe manufacturer said that 40% of its existing U.S. orders are now under pressure to renegotiate prices. Traditional industries, especially manufacturing, are under serious strain. For example, the iPhone production line at Foxconn's Zhengzhou factory is only operating at 70%.
Well, what I did hear today is that electronics like cell phones, they don't have the 145% tariff. They got a 20% tariff on them, which is the minimum due to the fentanyl, which fentanyl is strictly made in China. They know the recipe or whatever. So if they would stop making that, they could quit making fentanyl, but they won't because they're wanting to kill Americans and other people around the world, therefore trying to take over. But the way their economy is structured, like if you look at them, you know how many railroads this country has made in the past like couple of years? It's insane. They just go full out. They got ghost cities, entire cities. No one lives in them. They're just building stuff to build it because they get money that way. It's really strange how their economy works. And it's a house of cards. You kick one damn beam out of that thing and the whole thing is about to collapse. And I hate it for the actual Chinese people. I hate that.
Meanwhile, the factory in Vietnam is running at 92%. Reuters reported that the manager of a Christmas tree factory in Jinhua, Zhejiang said, "So far this year, we haven't received any orders from American customers. It's clearly because of the tariffs."
It's not clearly because of tariffs. It's fucking March. It's not Christmas time. You don't buy Christmas trees in March. No. Why would you do that? You're just going to buy it because it's $10 cheaper than what it would have been? But I don't know. They kill me, man. They kill me.
Normally, by mid-April, all the orders would be confirmed, but now, maybe they won't buy anything at all this year. Ms. Guo, who also runs a Christmas tree factory in Jinhua, said that a major American client had just asked her to pause a 3 million yuan order. She had already spent 400,000 yuan on materials.
3 million yuan? What is that, like $100,000? I don't know how much that converts over to. I know their money is insanely. I don't get how you got a wad of money that thick and it's equal to like $5.
And now fears the order might be cancelled, which could deal another serious blow to her business. Ms. Guo said, "People like me and my peers depend on U.S. orders to survive. These steep tariffs from the U.S. are going to affect a lot of people, and no one can escape."
The thing is, though, imagine what y'all have done to America. All those companies you have right there. Far as I know, China don't really celebrate Christmas. I don't know how many Christians are in China. I really don't know. That's something y'all would have to tell me. But that isn't an American thing. Why would it have ever been in China? Tariffs. That's exactly why. It's cheaper. Plus they use slave labor. They don't pay their people much at all. And I don't know who's getting all the money. I don't know if it's the government or if it's the owner of the businesses. I'm assuming it's the government. But anyway, if our company never left here, all these people wouldn't be losing their job. They would have never had one. It would have been a different a different environment altogether for all of the Chinese people.
Escape it. Losing the U.S. market will definitely cost a lot of people their jobs. According to a Caixin report on April 10th, nearly half the cargo ships docked at the Yangshan and Waigaoqiao ports in Shanghai on April 7th and 8th were headed to the U.S. Many of them had rushed over from the U.S. hoping to load up and head back before the new tariffs kicked in. But after Trump's announcement on April 9th, raising the tariffs to 125%, there were almost no ships heading to the U.S. at Shanghai's port on the next day. The containers that didn't make it out in time are now stuck at the port. They're just sitting in the container yards, waiting for the owners to either pick them up or figure out what to do with them. A worker from Costco Shipping at Yangshan.
You guys ever seen how, like, you ever seen the like bicycle junkyard in China? Like, there's probably 1 million bikes just piled up, and they just keep making them more electric scooters, and they got electric cars that are rusting, just sitting in parking lots, brand new, never touched. They overdo it. They just keep producing. And it's like, dude, you have no one buying them. And the Chinese electric cars are extremely dangerous. I've seen multiple videos where there's hundreds of them that just catch on fire just because it's cheaply made. It's made like crap. The way their government is constructed, there's a whole lot of dirty businessmen that are doing knockoff crap to make things work. That's exactly when the earthquake hit and the building fell down in Malaysia. That's the only Chinese high-rise there, and it's the only building that fell because they use substandard rebar.
Yangshan, that the container yard outside Yangshan Island is already piling up with these stranded shipments. Many owners are now going through the process of withdrawing their goods from customs. Air freight is also facing serious challenges. A shipping agent admitted that no one is even asking about regular air cargo anymore. And this is just what we're seeing right now. On April 9th, Song Guocheng, director of the Center for International Relations at National Chengchi University in Taiwan, said that Trump's tariffs are turning into a head-to-head trade battle between the U.S. and China. It's not just a tariff issue anymore. It's a direct economic showdown.
Yeah.
He said the U.S. is fully prepared to cut ties with the Chinese Communist Party.
I'm 100% down for it. I hate the repercussions for the people that live in China, but honestly, I don't care. We got people here without jobs. We got plenty of stuff here, and we're the biggest consumer. We got the most money, and yet the only reason that China has even been able to build a military is due to the American consumers buying junk. Literally, guys, 90% of it's junk. Cell phones, okay, big deal, cell phones, but literally, I was born in 1980. I grew up without cell phones, and honestly, I loved it. Didn't have someone trying to get a hold of you, and if you didn't answer the phone, you didn't get fussed at. I mean, none of that.
The tariff rate has been steadily rising and could even reach 200%. According to him, there's no limit to how high Trump could raise tariffs on China. He said if things reach that point, the U.S. might just block all Chinese products altogether.
Good.
He even gave it a name, the tariff to eliminate the CCP. The trade war has turned into a hand-to-hand combat, or what some people call a Trump tsunami.
But literally, China, you had 67% tariffs on us, and we didn't have it on you. So you started this crap, and you stealing IPs and stuff like that. You did this. Don't even look at Trump.
If Trump really takes action, he estimates that in 2025, China's GDP growth could fall by 1.5 to 2 percentage points. In that case, there's no chance for an economic recovery. China's economy would keep shrinking, and there doesn't seem to be any room left for trade negotiations. That's why the Chinese government is saying it's like mutual destruction. If one goes down, both will fall together. What Song described is a full and hard decoupling between China and the U.S. But what would that mean for China? Without access to the U.S. market, China has no economy to rely on. Song said the global economy is being split in two. The U.S. wants to build a supply chain without China. That leaves China with no choice but to try and build a supply chain without the U.S. But China has always depended on markets of Western democratic countries to drive its economic growth, even while confronting them politically. Now, China faces a big problem. All the goods it used to ship to the U.S., along with all the excess capacity sitting inside the country.
If I'm not mistaken, y'all can correct me in the comments, but doesn't China import 70% of its food for its people? And that's not good if you can't feed your own people, period. That's one lucky thing about America. We got plenty of room for cows. We got chickens. We got everything. And then we got the mountains, the desert. We're like the only country that has a little bit of everything in it.
Now have to find a new market. But no country in the world has the buying power the U.S. does. So Trump has moved to block what's called country of origin laundering through third world countries.
There you go.
That means countries like Vietnam.
Yes, they've already, when they first heard about tariffs, they were already moving everything to Vietnam, to other countries to get around. A lot of people I've heard have talked about the Penguin Island that's mostly just penguins or whatever. Trump put a tariff on it. You know why? He did it because of them, because they were going to go there to try to circumvent coming from China.
Vietnam and Indonesia, which used to help China relabel exports, may now turn away from China and start negotiating directly with the U.S. Goldman Sachs said the impact of U.S. tariffs isn't always straightforward. In some cases, China is the main or only supplier of certain products, so it's hard for the U.S. to find replacements. China has set a target of about 5% GDP growth this year, but the latest U.S. tariff could knock that down by around 2.4 percentage points. Goldman Sachs now expects China's growth to hit 4.5%. And says there's still a risk it could fall lower. The BBC Chinese service quoted Oxford Economics chief economist Lo Zhihui, who warned that in the worst-case scenario, China could lose up to 3 percentage points of GDP if all trade between the U.S. and China disappears. Capital Economics also analyzed the situation. If these tariffs continue, China's exports to the U.S. could shrink by more than half over the next few years. That alone could cut China's GDP growth by 1 to 1.5 percentage points. An economist from Societe Generale said that Trump's latest tariffs could cause most of China's exports to the U.S. to vanish. The scale of these tariffs is so massive that neither exporters nor consumers can handle them, and currency devaluation won't be enough to offset the impact. Some experts believe that if the U.S. and China go through with a full decoupling, China could face 8 major crises. First, China could lose $500 billion in exports to the United States. According to customs data from Beijing, Chinese goods sold to the U.S. last year totaled over $500 billion, which made up 16.4% of China's total exports. Second, many Chinese companies might use this opportunity to completely move their operations overseas. But Trump's new global tariffs are aimed specifically at stopping Chinese companies from using third countries to disguise the origin of their products. Future trade talks with other countries will likely include even more restrictions on Chinese goods. For Chinese businesses, this could be devastating and leave no way out. Third, China
if y'all hear my dog snoring, I'm sorry. She's back here on the couch laid down.
Has had serious overcapacity issues. Now, with the U.S. setting up trade barriers, all that excess production will have to be redirected to other countries. But many countries are already complaining about China dumping cheap goods into their markets, and they're likely to respond with their own countermeasures.
Europe and all these Southeast Asian countries, they're about to get swamped with a bunch of trash that normally comes here. And China, y'all make some of the most polluted air. Y'all are burning down buildings now, or factories. Y'all are burning them down just so you can get your insurance or whatever out of it. And this is insane. Y'all pollute the world more than any other country, even India, I think. It's insane. And y'all don't have drinking water. Y'all ain't got nothing. Y'all have destroyed everything.
This will only make China's economic situation worse. The Wall Street Journal previously reported that economists believe Trump's massive tariffs on China could trigger new problems for the global economy. Around $400 billion worth of Chinese goods would need to find new markets, but it will be hard for other countries to absorb the volume of products that once went to the U.S. This could intensify what economists call the China shock in those countries. The report noted that in 2023, 1/5 of the imported steel products in the U.S. came from China. More than 1/4 of the imported electronics came from China. 1/3 of all shoes and 3/4 of all toys the U.S. imported were from China. And 91% of umbrellas the U.S. bought came from China. China's surging exports in recent years have already raised tensions between China and other major economies. If Chinese exporters start redirecting goods meant for the U.S. to other countries, those tensions could grow even worse. Since Trump began the trade war in 2018, countries around the world have launched nearly 500 anti-dumping investigations and rulings against Chinese products. Economists are warning that this is creating a domino effect, where trade wars escalate quickly. As countries launch retaliatory measures and set up more trade barriers, even more nations may get dragged in. Michael Pettis, a finance professor at Peking University.
Sorry about that, guys. My camera has locked up, but I'll go ahead and finish the video so we can watch it. I'll still talk once in a while. I probably won't interrupt it anymore.
University, who studies global trade, said the real explosion hasn't even started yet. The fourth major crisis is that Chinese goods originally meant for export to the U.S. may now flood the domestic market. This will only worsen the situation inside China. The country is already facing deflation, and if these goods can't be sold at home, businesses will go bankrupt. Eventually, no one will want to spend money, people will tighten their belts, and it will spiral into a vicious economic cycle. Fifth, global supply chains could completely move out of China. If that happens, China would no longer be the world's manufacturing powerhouse, and they would lose the title of the world's factory. Sixth, the worst-case scenario is that America...
Yeah, I mean, seriously, that right there is one thing that needs to happen, because just like with the pandemic, they wouldn't send masks, they won't send medicine. If they're in an actual war with us, they're going to try to cut us off by shipping. That's one reason why we needed to get the Panama Canal back, which we're doing, and because they own the first and last port of the canal. That way they control the flow. Well, now we got first and free coming from through the Panama Canal, which technically we really don't need it, because we got the West Coast and the East Coast that takes care of Atlantic and Pacific. It's other countries, just like the other canal over there in the Middle East, that they're in the process of dealing with the Houthis at.
American and other foreign companies would completely pull out of China. That would trigger a massive wave of unemployment. Victor Shi, director of the 21st Century China Center at the University of California, San Diego, warned that the impact of tariffs could lead to millions of job losses. He also said that China could face a wave of bankruptcies, and U.S. exports to China might also completely stop. The Chinese Communist Party has proposed 6 so-called countermeasures, but in reality, all of them would end up hurting China itself. The CCP-backed WeChat account Niu Tanqin posted on April 8th that China is ready to hit back at the U.S. with at least 6 countermeasures. First, China may sharply raise tariffs on U.S. agricultural goods like soybeans and sorghum. Second, it could ban U.S. poultry imports. Third, it might suspend cooperation with the U.S. on fentanyl. Fourth, it could take action in the services trade sector, like restricting U.S. firms from taking part in government procurement or working in legal consulting. Fifth, it may block American movies from entering the Chinese market. Sixth, it plans to investigate how much U.S. companies earn from intellectual property in China. But Trump already had responses to the first and second moves during his first term. He gave...
Alright guys, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and stop the video here. I don't even know how many of you are going to really want to look into this, but I just wanted to check into it and see the main gist of it. And yes, I mean, we do need to keep, we need to keep trade going. I'm not saying to destroy China, but I'm saying cover our asses first. It's about us. It's our stuff. It's our product. Bring it back to America. Cut it off from China. Stop letting them steal all our stuff. And then, if they want something, then we'll trade with them and whatnot. But the way they've been doing it was strictly to try to dominate the entire world. And now you see all their junk, because it's literal junk, is going to flood other markets. And they're talking about trying to sell to Africa. Africa isn't going to be able to do that. They're not going to be able to pick up what America was doing. But and they also don't need it. Anyway, guys, please let me know what else to react to. Every once in a while, I will check in on politics here and there. I hope y'all all have a beautiful day, wonderful night, or both, either one. Anyhow, I'll check you later. Bye.